Okay, so back onto this account, and we've been doing a little bit of tech just around smithing. So I've been AFK smithing, just doing these adamant arrowheads, and we're nearly at 55 smithing, which is really, really nice. But what I thought I'd do, just to see if things could sell, I've put certain items which you can smith with adamant onto the Grand Exchange because a lot of the weapons are quite high in price relatively to how much the bars cost. Now, all of these weapons require 2 adamant bars, which with the price we bought them for, is going to be around 8,000 coins. And we've already sold a mace for 5.3k profit. And we've also sold as well the adamant scimitar for a bit more. That's going to be around 6.2k. But battle axe for another 5.2. The pickaxe I put in for a little bit too low, so that's actually bought for like 10,000 coins. And it's a little bit interesting really that we could actually make some very good profit by smithing adamant. So the arrow tips as well also are a little bit higher than what I thought they were, because we make 75 arrow tips per bar. This price currently means that we're not too far down. We're about 400 coins down from what we bought the bar for. So if we can be slightly higher in terms of the price, it means that we could actually make some profits or break even with smithing. And don't get me wrong, I'm more than happy to lose some money on smithing. It's a worthwhile investment, but if we can make some profit with it when we're just going to be smithing bars anyway, the bars are the same XP no matter like how you smith them, but we could do like a full invo of scimitars or battle axes or whatever and make some profit on the side. That could be worthwhile doing. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing for the next sort of like hour or two, is just having a play with smithing. I'm hoping to get somewhere towards 60. I don't know why I've kind of sort of settled on smithing, but the fact I can sort of AFK while like not really paying attention to the screen and this account still makes progress is kind of why I've stuck with it for so long. So I'm actually going to go and do that. I think I'm going to try scimitars and maces first. And what I'm probably just going to do is make 2 invos of each. So make 50 of each, still get the smithing XP, but just see if I can sell them for profit. Because if I can sell them for profit, 5k per like item smith, even if it's just a little bit of cash, I'm still getting smithing XP. Like, the way I was going to train smithing was going to be through arrowheads. Arrowheads are very slow to do it, so it's worthwhile just having a try with it as well. And this is why I kind of end up picking and finding all these different moneymakers, is because you go through the interface and you see like, oh, that's going to be decent price, because it shows you the Grand Exchange price now in the smithing interface, and you just kind of work around it for a little bit and you find these weird methods just from doing it. So I'm going to go and try this, throw them on the Grand Exchange. Absolute worst case, I just alch them or sell them to the shop. And I'm literally no worse, because when I bought the bars, I accepted I was going to write off like not getting any GP back for the bars and lose the cash from there as well. So it's going to be a little bit of an experiment, but that's what this account is for, to try and find all these different things where you guys can make a little bit of money from it as well. 54 smithing has given us access to the Defender of Valor, which is actually a pretty good mid-level quest to get into. We need it for the Curses storyline as well. And yeah, I suppose really I'm going to keep on going with the smithing. Now, I have been doing a couple of videos on the main account at 7 Day Bond, getting ready obviously for all the videos in Feb. And I've had a bit of a look into the construction supplies in things like refined planks, frames and stuff like that. And there seems to be a lot of cash dotted around. So at some point we might sort of delve into doing a little bit of construction, training our construction up. Really, I kind of want to get to 70, because I think when you get to things like you, that's when you really start making cash. You in Magic will be the ones which make the most money, because they're probably the best options for sort of GP and XP combination. Elders are just too expensive for what they are, whereas like Magics and U's at like 70 to 80k each are relatively decent. So I actually might go and invest a fair chunk of our cash into the fort. I want to upgrade the fort anyway. I've mentioned that a couple of times. I think the fort is worthwhile to spend some GP on and build it out. It's also worth the time to go and do the quests as well. But if we could get something like 70 smithing, really AFK as well, so when I need to edit and do stuff like that, we can go and do that with the fort. And we'll make our money back quite quickly with being able to do things like the U planks, U refined planks and U frames as well. That will be a minor gold mine where we'll make a lot of cash back, because at the minute, construction's printing. We've cashed in so much with Stonewall segments. I think that we might eventually cash in with the frames as well. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Scimitars don't seem that bad actually. It doesn't seem like we run out of heat too much. When you do the plate bodies, it gets a bit rough, where about third into like doing the plate bodies, you run out of heat and it's a bit brutal in terms of like what you're getting for the XP. But probably from doing 2 invos of scimitars, 2 invos of maces, we're definitely going to get towards like level 60, which is nice. Again, smithing, cracking AFK method. And then once I've recorded probably about 1 or 2 more videos, we'll probably go and do some other stuff and go and do a bit of exploring, because again, I didn't really want to make these videos too like focused on one thing. We need to sort of change it up and get exploring as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy the videos. But right, I'm going to go and do these, get them on the Grand Exchange, and we'll report on what's happening with the Grand Exchange as well. I need to finish off those clockwork, so they'll be on something I do tonight as well. And maybe I go and do a bit more woodcutting, maybe I do a little bit of thieving, maybe I do a little bit of something else. But I'll let you know either way what we end up doing. So our AFK quest to do some smithing continues, and there is level 57 smithing, making some anti-scimitars. I think in the previous clip, I kind of went through a couple of the weapons for adamant, which do seem to make some decent profit. Again, with smithing, you're not going to make the most money in the world unless you're smelting. Smelting is where the profit really is in smithing. But we can make some decent GP while also getting some XP in terms of smithing as well. But 57 is really nice. It's actually our joint highest stat. So that is something, and definitely going to be something I'll be sinking some money in going forward. Just because it is by far and away the best skill for me just to sit in AFK with while I'm doing all this editing, recording, and all that sort of stuff as well. So, in terms of the items which we put on the Grand Exchange sale, one seems to be performing very well, and that seems to be the Adamant Mace. So, we made a decent amount of them yesterday, and they seem to be selling very, very well. So that's probably what I'm going to do for the rest of my adamant bars. We've done 2 more invos of scimitars, which do seem to be selling, but they seem to be selling more as like a price check rather than actually selling. The arrow tips aren't actually that bad to smith either. You do take like a little bit of a loss, but they do seem to be relatively decent actually. So that's not bad. We've managed to sell an adamant dagger as well. That seemed to be okay. All these items, for whatever reason, have a G price of like 20 to 24k. But they just seem to struggle for anything like above sort of 12. Like all these items which we've sold for adamant have been sat on the Grand Exchange for a little while before they've actually really sold in high volume. So it's just interesting. Definitely probably something I won't look to do quite often. I think with the smithing, especially like when I'm trying to power level it and get it up, it's something I'm going to be seeing as like an expense, a skill I'm going to spend some money on just to level it up. But it's nice to see that the maces have sold. Maybe we'll do maces for the next round. 14.7k. is about 6.7k profit per item smith, which is actually very, very good. So it was worth doing just to find out which sort of items sold so we can focus in and do that. But as you can see, like some of these did sell for a relatively decent price. They all require 2 adamant bars. They all sort of cost roughly about 8,000 coins to make. So there's definitely some profit in smithing. You just need to be very patient for them to sell, which you know how we operate in terms of the Grand Exchange. We're happy for things to sell on the Grand Exchange slowly if it means we're going to get more profit for our items. So in terms of our challenges, we have runecrafting, mining, and Slayer. Now, with Slayer, I'm going to just keep kind of putting it to one side for a little bit, just because as well, like I don't think it's worthwhile doing. Construction, I'm not in the mood to do any flat packs, so we'll just use one of our skips for that. But mining and runecrafting is actually pretty decent for us to go and do. Runecrafting especially, just take the Wicked Hood out, go to your best runecrafting altar, and just simply just go and spam some runes. So we're going to go to the water altar. Because I've not put any more talismans in the hood, which I do need to do at some points actually, because again, it's a really handy daily to do, and it kind of builds out your stock of runes, especially for me where I don't really buy runes at the minute, but it just means that I can save some money in the long run just by doing this, and it's always some really good runecrafting XP for these early levels, especially like just before you go to runespan. It just means that when you finally do go to runespan, you've got a bit more variety on what you can use and what nodes you can get as well. You can go and do the better nodes for it as well, but there we go, that is that done, as well as the daily challenge. With the Wicked Hood as well, if you click on the runes, you can actually get 200 of the elemental runes free as well. So we've made a nice little amount there. For a daily, and especially for how easy of a daily it is, it's going to be roughly 50k, which don't get me wrong, is not going to set the world alight, but you've just saw how quick I've done it. It's going to give you some runecrafting XP as well, which will just bump up your level. And with that daily challenge, we'll get that as well. Mining's a handy one to have as well, because mining I'm going to kind of keep with smithing. It's a very good AFK, and especially when we can go and afford something like the Grace of the Elves, it starts to become really, really AFK, which I think the Grace of the Elves is going to be this account's first huge purchase, because with the Grace of the Elves, you don't need the highest divination level, as long as you can make some form of porter, and really like, as long as you get, I think he's 68 for the Emerald one, as long as you can like put those into it, you can sort of get value out of the Grace of the Elves as well. So yeah, maybe that's going to be the first big item I'm going to look at. I don't know what price of Grace of the Elves is nowadays, but it used to be like 140-ish mil. So we can have a look at that. And the G and the cash stack is going up well enough, I think, but we shall see. So the standard one is only 60 mil. Wow. Maybe that's what we aim for. Again, like with divination especially, we need to get divination to level 80 for invention. And the fact we're already starting like smithing is a good sign, but maybe that's a big target for us to go. Make 60 mil for a Grace of the Elves is actually so cheap. For how much that would transform a lot of our skills, like that pretty much makes mining free, because like you can just sit and camp at a spot for mining and just AFK away for the full 15 minutes because you're not waiting for your invo to fill up. Your Grace of the Elves is actually banking your ore, so wow, maybe that's maybe we go full money making mode for a little bit just to go and get that. That would be an enormous pickup, and it kind of pays for itself as well over the sort of grand life of an account like Grace of the Elves, because it's going to give you those constant like spirits and drops. You can make some money from it as well. But that's not going to be where we're going to be today. But maybe that's what we're looking at doing over the next couple of days. Maybe we go back to seeing like what Stonewall segments are doing. Maybe we're going to see what Clockwork's doing. Let's go and check price Clockwork, because it has dropped on the Grand Exchange as well, its price. So I'm thinking Clockwork might be a little bit dead for now. Yeah, 9,000 coins is still really good profit for Clockwork, but it's not as good as some of the other stuff. So yeah, maybe we sort of really go aggressive and check out some other money making methods and really start to put it on now. So something I thought about as well, and again, this might have been a bit more of a ramble clip than what I was intending. Also, look at the silver sickles now under the Grand Exchange mid price. But Infernus Pyroclast and Super Compost is something we've not done, but that is something which can really pay out and make us a lot of profit. So maybe that's something worth looking at. Infernus Pyroclast, the best way to sort of get it is to put an offer on the Grand Exchange for like a little while and just try and slow buy it. I've got enough cash where I can pretty much put a really sort of low offer in. Maybe buy 1,000, 2,000, enough to keep us going for a couple of days, and then just see what the price of Ultra Compost is afterwards. But especially if we've got a target of 60 mil for Grace of the Elves, that is very achievable. And even if like maybe we cross back into teleport tabs for a very short amount of time, but it seems that the Ultra Compost is a little bit low compared to normal. 10,000 coins, you're still going to be making about 4k for that, but I don't think that's as good as it could be. So yeah, maybe we look at different options. Now, what I'm going to go and do on this account actually is to go and record some videos. We're going to be doing the one-off videos where we go through like combat places, skilling methods, all that sort of jazz as well, just to see what we can do with different options. And then after that, we'll be AFKing because we'll be editing away. So I'll update you guys a little bit later on what we've done and stuff, but the total level's still cracking up, even though like we've just really smithed. That's all we've really done. We've got a couple levels, I thought. Yes, we've got a couple runecrafting levels from daily challenges. 3 spirit runes per essence actually isn't horrific either. I think that's still not going to put you in profit, but it's getting there anyway. So yeah, I'm going to go and record some videos. I'm going to go and see what's currently going to be around, but I do think that the Grace of the Elves could seriously be a play for us to do in the future. In terms of the account value, 61 mil is what we're currently at, so I don't know, maybe we could like sell up and try and see where we're at currently in terms of GE and price and stuff, but I think we can definitely go and make some more money and see where we currently are and then report back very soon on what the plan is going forward. So that is going to wrap up the episode today. Back on the grind and back out producing the progression videos for you guys as well. The 3 videos we did just sort of detailing what I would suggest for low level, sort of building your account up, have gone down really well, so thank you guys so much for that. Really hope you guys are enjoying it, and we're now getting very close to the midway point of the February subathon. So if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure to do that subscription. Please like the video. We are adding up all of the likes and subscriptions at the end of the month to finally get a final number on the amount of double uploads we're going to do. But we are definitely getting towards there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.